You ever have one of those moments where the universe just dares you to lose your cool? Yeah, that was me, standing alone by the lake where I'd once planned forever with my husband. Only now I was dragging boxes out of an old pickup, looking for peace and winding up with a war. I swear grief teaches you all kinds of lessons, but nobody warns you how many strangers will try to rewrite your story once they think you're alone. So picture this morning sun bouncing off the water, the smell of pine so thick you could taste it, and me just trying to hold it together. And then heels crunching behind me, pearls, and all this woman stomps over like she owns the ground I'm standing on. She barely even looked at me before saying, "Excuse me, are you with the renters? The HOA board approved." You know that voice like honey poured over barbed wire. I said, "No, I bought this land. It's mine." And the look she gave me, man, you'd think I confessed to robbing a church. "That can't be," she says, eyes sharp. "HOA oversight extends to this lot." I just handed her my deed stamped, notarized official as it gets. Watching her hunt for a loophole, desperate to find a reason I didn't belong, it was almost funny if it wasn't so sad. "You'll need to follow our guidelines," she sniffed. "We value cohesion here." All I could muster was, "Thanks for the tip." "But I'm not in your HOA." And that right there, that's when it started. Now you'd think that'd be enough for most people, but folks like her, they never quit easy. Over the next few days, I kept to myself, fixed up the old fire pit, planted some dogwoods. Jacob always loved those. I was just trying to make something feel alive again. But every time I turned around, there was another little reminder that I wasn't welcome, a golf cart buzzing past 3 times a day, a lawn sign warning community members. Only then, one morning, a note taped to my truck windshield about HOA aesthetic violations and fines. No letterhead, just attitude. Yeah, that happened. But I've survived worse than paper bullies. I called the county, double-checked. My paperwork started snapping photos, built a folder, if they wanted a game, I'd play it better. And then came Dolores. Oh, we're calling her Dolores, coming back with reinforcements. One guy with a camera, another with a measuring wheel, all walking my property line like they were the feds. She starts in again, waving her clipboard. But I'd done my homework, so before she could launch into her speech, I just said, "You might want to talk to your attorney before you step over this line again." Her mouth snapped shut so fast it was almost a cartoon. The truth was I'd hired Mrs. Fisher, a real shark of a lawyer, loves a good fight, hates bullies. Dolores left in a huff, her little posse trailing behind, looking like kids caught sneaking cookies. But instead of backing off, the HOA folks ramped things up. I started finding boundary flags moved only a couple feet, but just enough to make trouble. Flyers showed up on my driveway and community boards, "Do we know who she is?" with my face and a big red question mark. There was even a batch of grainy photos comments scribbled on them. "Not HOA approved disruptive eyesore." Some neighbors started acting like I was radioactive, watching from windows, snapping pics with their phones. Let me back up a sec. This was about more than rules or grass height. This was about being an outsider. And that's the part that gets you, it's not just paperwork. It's people deciding who gets to belong. And here's where it gets weird. One day, a new character walks into the story. Tyler, a county surveyor, boots, covered in mud, clipboard full of questions. He's polite, sharp, and after half an hour he's shaking his head saying, "I don't know who's after you, but from what I see, you're the only one playing by the book." And that little bit of validation, man, it mattered more than I wanted to admit. So what did I do? I leaned in. Cameras went up, sensors in the brush. Every flag marked twice and logged on GPS. Mrs. Fisher said, "Keep your head down and your folder thick. Let them dig their own hole." So I did, and just in time, because soon enough the sheriff rolled up, called out by yet another HOA complaint, this time accusing me of squatting on my own land. The look on his face as he read my paperwork, half pity, half disbelief, was priceless. "You're not a squatter," he said. "You own this free and clear, even offered to walk the perimeter just to make it official. But did Dolores and her gang let go?" Not a chance. Next came the big one, a disciplinary hearing. Folding chairs and all Dolores in the middle with a binder thicker than the town phone book, reading about community values and preserving the harmony. But this time I was ready. I laid out every document, deed, certified maps, county surveys, photos of flag tampering flyers, letters from my lawyer warning about legal action for harassment. You could hear a pin drop when Stuart, another board member, finally asked if anyone had checked if my land was actually in their jurisdiction before all this. Dolores stammered. Stuart made a motion to dismiss everything. That was it. The fight, the gossip, the campaign, all that power just evaporated. Afterward, walking out under that big blue sky, I didn't feel like some movie hero. I felt tired but free in a way I hadn't been since before Jacob got sick. I went home, finished nailing the subfloor, planted forget-me-nots. Along the trail, tried to build something good out of all that mess. The HOA could keep their flyers and whispers. They didn't get to decide my story. Not anymore. But here's the kicker sometimes when I sit by the lake at night, journal in my lap, fire crackling, I catch myself wondering if it was all worth it. Was I just stubborn, or did I actually stand up for something that matters? What would you have done? Fight for your space or walk away and find somewhere with less drama? Because let's be real, folks, every community's got its Dolores, and sometimes all you can do is draw your line in the sand and hold it. So you tell me, where do you stand on all this? Was I right to dig in, or should I have just kept moving? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear the wildest HOA stories you've got, the best comebacks, or the one time you finally told someone enough. Out here by the water, the only thing that really matters is knowing which battles are worth fighting and which ones, well, sometimes you just got to let them blow away in the wind.